It's the Exit 52 podcast here live on Mischief night after the Ravens got into a bit of mischief down in Miami. We are brought to you, as always, by Jimmy's Famous Seafood and by our friends at Black Eyed Susan Spices, who on Saturday, November 15th, will be at Baltimore's hottest event, Never More Hot 2025, presented by Black Eyed Susan Spices and Peabody Heights Brewery, an event that's free to attend and offers a full afternoon of spicy entertainment where you can sample products from over 25 spicy vendors from all over the country. There will also be spicy food specials, oysters, live music, and a festival-exclusive hot sauce from the Black Eyed Susan Spice Company. Peabody Heights Brewery is releasing the festival-exclusive Fire Extinguisher Pilsner to go along with all their other delicious beers. That is all at Nevermore Hot, Saturday, November 15th, from noon to 6 p.m. at Peabody Heights Brewery in Baltimore. Get to it. Follow the festival on Instagram at Nevermore Hot and check out the website, nevermorehot.com, for details. That is Black Eyed Susan Spices. My name is Jake Louque. I'm joined by all the boys here, some of us in costume, one of us not. Taylor, I'm going to start with you down there. You woke up feeling the cheesiest.
I woke up feeling the cheesiest, coach. Yeah, this is not cheese. This is not a complete costume. Tomorrow I'll have Cheez-Its and some football things. But I that commercial is you called it annoying, Jake. I love the feeling cheesiest commercial.
The problem is it's one of the YouTube mid-roll ads now, so I see it no less than 50 times a day. And it's also on every college football game like 400 times a game. So I can understand the annoyance with it, but I love it. So I woke up feeling the cheesiest, coach. Straight from Cheez-Its' website. Thank you to Cheez-Its.
It's gone past the annoying phase for me and gotten to it's just so out there in front of you that I just can't help but embrace it.
It's the Stephen A. Smyth arc. Sort of.
Say the password. Bat an eyelash. Spenny, how are we feeling up there? I love the mask.
Dogs are howling. Ravens take home a big fat win on I don't like saying Mischief night. It makes me feel weird, but on Mischief night, and yeah, I mean, hard not to feel good going into the weekend. Thursday night football win for the team you like. Like what's better than that? Who's got it better than us?
Nobody. Truly is the best feeling, isn't it, Brian, down there at the beach, ready to soak in a fun weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's fall golf, baby. What's better than that? And I love having a Thursday game going into a weekend like this because you can just kind of enjoy the weekend for what it is and not have to sweat it. And even if you're playing Survivor football, you got your win in the bank and you can just watch everybody else and kind of laugh at the misery. So, yeah, it's a good place to be.
Yeah, and especially with how things have played out in the last couple of weeks with the AFC North, I think this was something that everyone kind of knew was on the table. It almost like I'm one of those fans that even when like the best case scenario is just laid right out in front of you, as our guy Booney would say, Taylor, it's tough for me to get myself to believe sometimes. And I think were still issues with this Ravens team. I think there are still some that were on display tonight, which we'll get into, but a pretty thorough belt to ass performance here by a Ravens team that had Lamar Jackson returning to the lineup, throwing 4 touchdowns, 2 to Mark Andrews, 1 to Chuck Kohler, and 1 to Rashad Bateman. Defense forcing 3 turnovers on the other side of the ball. So, I mean, to me, it just felt like pretty complete performance. I think the offense maybe petered out in a few spots. Defense definitely gave up their spots on some long drives as well, but they tightened up in the red zone, not allowing a touchdown. Again, the 3 turnovers, that's huge. That's what we've talked about. Tua and this Dolphins offense, they're terrible. So I don't know exactly what to take away in that respect. They looked like they wanted to be off the field halfway through the third quarter in this game. So not a ton to take away other than the fact that the Ravens, I think a lot of people expected them to come out there and do exactly what they did, but that's much easier said than done, especially when you're knocking the rust off with your quarterback who's been out for over a month. So job done. As Peterman would say, congratulations, Elaine, on a job done. And so here we are. You're heading to Minnesota, I believe, next. And it's all right in front of us, Taylor.
Yeah, no, I think that this was sort of what we forecasted in the depths of despair a few weeks back, was this massive break that they were going to have in the schedule to kind of get going post-bye, and so far they're 2 for 2. They've kind of done their job 2 consecutive weeks in a quick span and gotten the train back on the tracks. And that was always going to be out there. And I remember when we were sort of trying to throw that thought out there, our comment section, and rightfully so, was like, we don't need this positivity. Things are terrible, and things were terrible. But this was always set up to happen. I think the biggest thing for me is in a vacuum, it's like there's not a ton to take away. They kind of did what they needed to do, but this team hasn't done what it's needed to do as much as other teams have. And so to see them come out and pretty much wax the Dolphins, a Dolphins team that has been terrible but played well on Sunday, and probably had their best performance of the year. And then, as you said, Jake, looked like a team that didn't want to play and may have a new head coach when they head into their next game. That felt like the swan song for Mike McDaniel. But I think you have to praise them for what they came out and did in a short week on the road, in front of a very, very Ravens fan heavy atmosphere, which was awesome to see, and saw a ton of things on social media and texts about that. But I think this was great. It was a nice kind of easy Lamar game to let him sort of sink his teeth into. Nothing crazy that the Dolphins were going to be able to provide him, and the defense has sort of started to string together some good, some smash plays. I can't think of like the name. Some impactful plays.
Flash plays might be what you were going.
I couldn't get there. I was thinking smash. Thank you, Jake. That's why you're the host of the show. To have that one early to kind of set up the short field and get the wheels in motion is what we've seen when this team is really playing that kind of complimentary football, and they did that tonight. And it was really big for them to get that fourth down on the goal line. And I think there would have been the haters would have been out. They probably would have felt a little more stressed. But nice play by Lamar. Mark Andrews gets a couple TDs. He's probably feeling a little better about himself, and we move to next week. But look, this is what we talked about. This is the run they can go on. And it is easy. The schedule is easy. There's no other way to put it. I mean, it is not hard. So we'll see if they continue to string together performances. But I think Ravens fans should be happy tonight. Nothing too much to complain about after tonight.
Spenny, how'd you feel? How'd the all-22 kind of brain inside of that skull of yours kind of break all of this down? Because I think there were still some things to be ironed out. We'll certainly get into that more on the jumbo set, but just kind of first reactions from this one.
I'm alive. I'm alive. The Ravens shook off the cobwebs, and I think Lamar shook off the cobwebs, and they didn't poop themselves. They didn't pee themselves. They didn't make an embarrassing statement. And what did we say, Jake, in the preview? We said, are you the Ravens that are a terror to play on primetime games? They're the worst to play on primetime. I even think back to like the Monday Night Football game at home against the Chiefs, where the Chiefs had 2 picks early of the pick 6, whatever, the Tyrann Mathieu 2-pick game, and they still figured out a way to win. And that's the only time they beat the Chiefs. Like, the Ravens are mofos. And after the Lions ran shop on them in the bank, I don't think the Dolphins are a good team. I actually, in fact, think they're a horrible team. I think they're dysfunctional. They're stupid. They've quit. They're soft in ways. I thought they had an admirable, desperate performance defensively in the first half, but the Ravens in 2 consecutive games, and I'll say especially offensively, have played better in the second half. And that's what they need to do. They need to finish games. And I loved what Harbaugh did, keeping Henry out there late in the game, getting 100 yards, and making these guys get reps. Lamar's played 5 games, whichever it is. Get the reps handing the ball off. Let them feel like, hey, Henry iced the game away late, even though it was out of reach. Like, it felt thorough. It felt right. I didn't love, Lamar was rusty, right? Like what? He had maybe 2 full practices since a month ago. So it looked a little rusty. It looked a little weird. I have some things I could talk about that I hate about what they've done offensively consistently at times, like going super quick just to run the ball up the gut, like 17 times out of 17 and getting stuffed like 15 of those times. But they adjusted at halftime. Their defense forced turnovers. They didn't turn the ball over. The football didn't touch the ground. Like, Lamar had 5 incompletions, no fumbles. They didn't turn the ball over, and they took the ball away. So Jordan Stout, I also am just going to continue to shout out here. Like, he's been fucking pinning dudes deep, pinning them up against the goal line. Last week, that punt leading to the pick was massive, and he looked so good. He was toying with the returner. It looked like he was reacting to the returner's positioning and keep away and preventing flipping the field. So really like what we've seen on special teams. Jackson on special teams. Number 39's everywhere, man. He's making plays left and right. Harbaugh loves that guy. He had some penalties tonight, but Lamar Jackson suddenly has like 18 touchdowns
1 interception in 5 starts. Is that what it is? Is this 5th start?
Yeah, because he's the Chiefs game, right?
The Chiefs was a 4th game. Yeah. So this is his 5th start. He's played like 4.5-ish games, 5 games, and he has 18 touchdowns and a pick. So he's balling regardless. And I love the adjustments they made at halftime offensively. I like that they kept it steady offensively in the first half, and they were a little anemic. It felt like the one play they had was the likely explosive play. Other than that, they didn't really sustain a drive, but it's complimentary football. I feel like I'm watching. And Jake, we both tweeted the same thing, like almost in unison, I think, without talking about it. Like, aloha, alohi, baby. That was sick. Like, defense is making plays deep in the opponent's territory in back-to-back weeks, as they should, on, an inexperienced quarterback in Caleb Williams, and tonight against Tua, who's ass, and, taking the ball away. So awesome stuff. They're fired up. You can see it. They have the bye week. They have every intention now, it feels like, to go make a couple trades. Dolphins showed them, like, you got to make trades. You're not going to be a contender a couple times. So lots of fun stuff here. I'll pass the mic, but I feel like the Ravens shook off the cobwebs on Mischief night. And yeah, I mean, it's not fucking over. Like, you're fine. 3-5's fine. 4-5, very attainable. You're right in the thick of it. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know what they're going to do. We've already seen it 1,000 times before.
Yeah, great to see that, specifically from Stout that you mentioned there. And we've got Eric Arditi in the comments here. I'm not sure who that is, but we were out on the town in Philly one night for Brian's bachelor party. Jordan Stout was at that bar. I pinged him from 20 feet away. I wasn't going to go up and say anything, of course. I told Brian about it. Brian wasn't going to either. So we did the Stewie Brian Griffin on the train in Switzerland, yelling Tom Bosley, who's yelling Jordan Stout. You didn't hear it. He didn't come over and acknowledge us. So that was tough for us. Brian, I'm sure you were flashing back to that while watching this. What are your kind of initial takeaways from what you saw from this defense? We'll go there specifically, because I feel like that takeaway really set a tone, and that's what we've been asking for, not only this season, but going back years.
Yeah, I think that was one of the big storylines, obviously, coming out of the postseason play, and that's going to be something that rears its head. We should get to that point this season. But just refreshing to see us not just take the ball away there, but cash in. As we were talking here, Lamar being on the set, they did a little cut in to John Harbaugh in the locker room, and something that he was touting was just that they were 3 for 3 in the red zone, which was super refreshing. And exactly right about that 4th and goal play. I feel like the whole sideline is deflated, of course, if we don't cash in on that the way that we did. And then it was kind of gangbusters from there. So I'm curious to the objective observer that I'm trying to put myself in their shoes if they're walking away from that game thinking more the Dolphins are just a terrible, just totally dead dog franchise right now, like, or are they walking away from it like, hey, the Ravens are a team that have it together? Because I would say across the course of the 60 minutes, it was like a very dominant third quarter. I think that opening drive to open the second half was maybe one of the biggest and most important drives we've had, so far this season. And probably the one that had us feeling the best, feeling the ooey gooey that we like to feel after just like a cohesive long drive that takes time off the clock and ultimately punches in for 6. So, I mean, all things considered, like last week was a survive and advance situation. It was a just try to get a win by any means, and then we'll figure it out the rest later. And the celebration on the sidelines even was like it felt a little over the top for a win over a terrible football team that is the Dolphins. But at the same time, it's so understandable because I think everyone could see the light at the end of the tunnel, but maybe there was a little bit of unassuredness that we were actually making progress towards it. And tonight was a great step forward towards what I think everybody sees as the pathway to not just winning, getting into playoffs, but winning the division here. So, so all that said, just it's good to get another one and keep it moving and move towards the next one.
I like specifically the carryover from what we saw last week. Spenny, you and I talked about this on the preview. Like, it just felt like for all the issues they had as far as just giving up long sustained drives to, granted, good teams. You talk about Kansas City, Detroit, the Bills, like those are the teams that are going to be there at the end. So you expect that to an extent. But what really was glaring and deflating in those games was just lack of fundamentals, just missing tackles, just kind of not being where you needed to be. I think against the Bears, we saw some resurgence in that, where Roquan was kind of all over the field in that game. He made a critical tackle on a running back out of the backfield. We saw him do something similar like that tonight, where he saved what could have been a key third down gain on like a 3rd and 16. I think it was either Achane or Gordon. So that was great. Kyle Hamilton just all over the freaking field in this game. His impact is being felt. I think that OA trade for Gilman is really proving its value in spades there. And then obviously Starks getting the pick. But yeah, I mean, just going back to the original point, they just feel more fundamentally sound. Granted, it's easier to do against a bad team, but this is a team that is not without playmakers. Waddle made a couple of plays on them tonight. Talk about Achane and Gordon, and you had some injuries there in the backfield. I get it, but overall, like, they are taking, they're tying their shoes, I guess I would say, Taylor, when before they were not tying their shoes and then trying to get into a 100-meter dash and tripping right away.
Let me tell you what, they won't trade him, but if I was a team that needed a running back, I'd go to Achane. Achane's awesome. I'm very impressed every time I watch the Dolphins, which is not that many times. Yeah, I agree with you, Jake. I think, and I want to point out what Spenny said, I think was so right. Like, and they should finish all these games like this year. This isn't like you're 6-1 and throw the third string running back in, throw whoever in, kind of like roll through the end of the fourth quarter. Like, treat every game like a playoff game, because like if you can go on a significant run, you can get up to the 3 seed in this conference. Like you can get there. Like, it's not like you look at the top of the AFC. It is not some like murderer's row of teams that is going to have 2 or 3 teams that win 14 games, like 13 games. Like the Ravens get this Patriots team, week 15 or 16. That's the 2 seed right now. Like this stuff is like all attainable for them, to go win the division and set themselves up a little bit more in the playoffs. So I like the fact that if they're going to treat, Black, you were talking about them, treating, and having the celebrations as they were, like, yes, celebrate everything. Like there's no need to take anything for granted at this point. You kind of have gotten kicked in the mouth. I kind of like them coming from that position from a mentality standpoint. It's kind of fun to watch and is a different place than they've been in for a while. Like maybe this team's going to work better kind of from behind, without the target on their back, without all that pressure. Like some of that pressure's gone away when you start out like this. And I know you get the other side of it where you're trying to kind of scrape your way back into the playoff picture, but with how attainable that part of it is, I'm sure they don't feel that as much because the division is so there to be won and is so weak. So yeah, I think you're right, Jake. It was like tie your shoes, put all the clothes on and kind of get back to school. And now the question is, can they get through the rest of class and ace it? And that's what they're gonna have to do for the rest of the year. To get to where they want to be at the end. I think the point about Jordan Stout is like so true. The Ravens kind of like, mosey their way 3 and out, whatever. And, you pin a guy like Tua inside the 5, like you're just asking for the Dolphins to like make a mistake back there because of just what I think he leads the league in picks. Not that he threw a pick, obviously, in that situation, but you're just like, anytime we can get them where he's got to lead them down the field 90 yards, that just puts so much pressure on a team like that is, waiting to get knocked out. That was a boxer in the 11th round that is like against the ropes, just waiting to get put down, and the Ravens put him down. So that was really, really impressive to see, affect the game with special teams like that. And Stout has done that in a couple games. And he's been great this year after, I think there was some question about him in year one, and he's really found himself. So impressive stuff from him. The only correction I'll make, I think it's 18-1 TD interceptions against the Dolphins, right? He's 10-1 this year. Which, by the way, man, this guy kills the Dolphins. Poor Dolphins fans. Poor our guy Kyle Rajat. Poor Kyle. I mean, he's just Dolphins fans just getting absolutely destroyed by Lamar every single time he plays him. So
yeah, I was talking to him about that fandom kind of
like, what do you do if you're a fan of the Dolphins? I know we're a Ravens show, but like I was watching the Dolphins, I was like, if I was a Dolphins fan, you're watching that team, you're gonna hire a coach. You have Tua, who's just like, Tua will always have the moment in the national championship game, but
so bad. Like this McDaniel offense. And they were kind of, when they hit those kind of little crossing routes over the middle with Waddle in particular, they can kill you. But like he can't even hit those like a decent enough chunk of the time that it stands out. Like you see that in other games too. I was like, whenever they would get him into a second and obvious throw or third and obvious throw situation, it's like, all right, well, there's like a pretty decent chance that the guy's going to be open and Tua is just going to have his timing be off and miss him behind. And it happened a couple times in this game. He helped the Ravens out big time in that way.
Yeah, they just did all the bad team things. Missed the 35-yard field goal, which in this era is a chip shot. Like
False
they had a
start
couple
on 4th and 1.
false start on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
They it was not a penalty on Gordon, the like tripping call. That was a call the Ravens probably got in their favor, but you know, that's what happens to you when you're bad. that call goes against you when you stink.
Then you punt that away. Rashad Bateman doesn't finish a play, and before the play is over, he's already screaming at the ref. He gets a personal foul call. So that was a little ball don't lie. I'm sure Dolphins fans will not be happy about the tripping call. Or it was an unnecessary roughness call. They kept calling it tripping. It was actually called unnecessary roughness, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kirk was so incensed. I don't know if he he was like got very, very upset about that.
It wasn't quite JJ Watt, summoning Deep Throat in a parking garage somewhere in the bowels of Washington, D.C., but it was he was on his soapbox about that one.
Yeah. So professional performance. It's a professional performance.
Absolutely.
Ravens are bad in power running situations. They have an issue there. That's clear. And I think that's something you can fix. And it feels like that's really like the one thing that they need to figure out with the guys that they have. I don't think they're trading.
How do you, and you can continue right after this, I'm sorry, but like the conversation that I see on the Everything app right now is the guards suck, right? I think Cole even mentioned that in our chat that we have. It's just people just say the guards suck. And it's like, I think that's correct, but it's like, it's not really a solution-oriented way to frame it. Like, how do you get around that, save trading for like Kevin Zeitler or whoever?
This is the exact same question I was going to ask.
I don't think I just don't think they're going to trade for an offensive lineman. Like they probably like Emory Jones a bit. I don't think he didn't have camp. I don't think he plays unless there's injury. But to me, like you talk about the guards, but then like Linderbaum isn't moving guys. That's not his thing. He's a mover. He's not moving guys necessarily. He can reach block really well. He can have good reps here and there, but like he's not like Creed Humphrey is a much more physical center, I would say. Like for top of league centers. Tyler Linderbaum's awesome. I hope the Ravens pay him. I would also say Roger Rosengarten is a fucking small finesse right tackle. Like they lose all 5 of the guys. That's the thing Cole will say too, and it's a very good point. It's not just the guards. Stanley will get pushed back a yard. Like the other 4 will be stalemating enough to give Henry like the ability to go plow in and get a yard. And Stanley gets knocked back a yard. And then the next time Voorhees lets up his chest. And then Linderbaum, somebody gets up into Linderbaum's pads because he's just not the biggest, strongest dude on earth. And then Falele whiffs. And then Rosengarten just gets fucking knocked back because he's light in the pants for a right tackle. So I feel like there's a lack of player leadership in that room. I don't think that Stanley is like a bad leader or anything like that, but I don't think he's the salt of the earth type of gritty veteran that kind of summons you. That's more, I don't know, fan media talking stuff, I guess. So like, how do you fix it? It's just, they need to time it better. They need to have better splits and they need to rep it out. And 4 of these 5 guys are on a rookie contract. Like these are not vets. Stanley has had major injuries. He is playing with limitations physically and doing an admirable job. I will always have beers for Ronnie Stanley. If I ever see him, I will always buy him a beer because he's, taken a lot of shit in this city and from this fan base and stayed here, took a pay cut and keeps trying, man. So nothing but respect for Ronnie Stanley. It's young guys. They're inexperienced. Like Linderbaum's the second most experienced guy. Is in year 4. Like, it's not this veteran group of grizzled dudes. Like there's no Lane Johnson. There's no freaking Frank Ragnow. Like some of these other better run games have had some of these vets, and Stanley's just not playing at a high enough level to set that tone. He's just never been that player even before the injuries. So like, I think Linderbaum needs to continue to step up as a leader. It sounds like he has done so from what we've kind of heard whispers from inside the building, but it's just timing. And I think it's snap count. And we saw it against the Rams in a game where they couldn't score. They were converting power situations when everyone was going into that game was like, oh, the Rams defensive front is going to kick the Ravens' ass. That was like their most gritty, tough, well-timed performance. The other things I would say that are factors tonight, it was a short week on the road. The big boys do get freaking tired, beat up, and worn down. The Ravens haven't played a road game since the Chiefs. So there's like other factors at hand too. So I think they might have gotten comfortable. I think it was all a good thing. Having another basically bye to kind of chew on that again. That was their big failure tonight offensively, right? Like they couldn't get it done in short yardage situations, in those power situations. So I think it's really just timing, reps, cadence. I would be pretty surprised if they traded for a starter on the offensive line. I would be pretty surprised. And you don't often see offensive players integrate as cleanly. Offense is based a lot more on like scheme, timing, understanding, things like that. What do you always hear every freaking offensive line coach say? Like continuity. I need continuity. So this group's getting it now. They have had more or less the same five for a good portion of the season. So I think it's just repping it out and, stop pulling guys so many times. They keep running power and it's not working and they're not getting the knockback. Run fucking duo or inside zone. Like stop running power where someone's pulling. When there's that gap, it gets shot and they're not creating vertical displacement at the line of scrimmage to me. So I think they need to continue to evaluate themselves and self-scout. I think it's less power or gap concepts, more zone, and they just need reps. I don't know. Sometimes I forget we're on YouTube and it's not just us talking. I was going to say something insane about Daniel Falele, but like somebody pinch that guy's nipple. Man. Like Falele, can you just? I don't know. It's not even just him. He's definitely scapegoat, and he definitely is put in a bad position and is not a natural guard and all those things. But it's just truly whack-a-mole. One of the five of them seems to lose so consistently. Ricard had a tough night tonight too. I thought missed some reach blocks, missed some kickouts, things like that. Short week. Guy just came back from injury on the road. 2 games in 4 days, first time playing this season. So give Pat some rest and get the big boy back in there next time.
He had a play in the first half where he got absolutely blown off his feet. Yeah. I can't remember who the rep was against. Yeah, pass pro, yeah. I mean, you said it's Benny, just to like outline your point. Like Falele has 25 NFL starts. Voorhees has 10 NFL starts. Rosengarten has like 23 or 4 NFL starts. Like it is not an experienced group of offensive linemen. And as much as, you want them to look like 10-year guys immediately because the team is on a trajectory where you need them to, there's still some development happening. Like a guy like Voorhees just has not played a lot of football. Like was out most of his senior year of college and then missed that entire year. I mean, that guy's just not played a ton of organized, real game football. So
there's definitely a lot of guards that have played 10 games of NFL football and looked a lot worse than him. I'd say that. I think he's going to be a nice player in the run game. Pass pro, still so much to clean up. And just like you said, inexperience. So it's tough. Like they just don't have a veteran leader, man. And I think it shows.
The thing for me, and I tend to leave the X's and the O's on the O-line to the Spencers and the Cole Jacksons of the world and everything, but there doesn't seem to be much of an edge from anyone. Like there needs to be a guy, and Linderbaum's probably the closest thing to it, but like a Ryan Jensen type, a guy who just like finishes blocks and ends up on the top of the pile and gets in people's faces and sticks up for his guys. And, I'm sure all 5 of those guys do that plenty, but like somebody who just brings a little more energy to the group as a whole. It just seems like something that's missing.
Yeah, someone that drives the attitude a little bit.
The youth and experience that we were talking about. Like it's just like they're probably all just looking around and saying like, "Where's the leader?" And Spenny, you mentioned about Stanley. He's a leader in his own way, but he's an interior kind of guy. He's not super vocal. So yeah, it's tough to manufacture that edge. Like you don't want guys out there faking it. So change is probably needed in the longer term. As of right now, they're gonna have to find a way to BYOE here, bring their own energy. I don't know, man. Like, yeah, and it was really that second drive. This is kind of where at times I get 2021 vibes with this team, where that 2021 team was just like the Jack Sparrow of the NFL. Like you're without a doubt the worst 8-3 team I've ever seen or I've ever heard of, but you have heard of me. And like that second drive when they're right after Gilman, forces the fumble, recovers the fumble. That was great. They get down there and you're talking about these power runs. And then I think they did have that kind of pin pull try with Henry there going left. It didn't go anywhere. You get into 4th down and you're kind of wondering like this offensive line and Todd Monken's kind of goal to go play calling has been a concern this season. And where I get the 2021 vibe is a little Lamar Jackson Superman, where he scrambles out to his right, finds Mark Andrews for that first touchdown of the night. It felt like he was kind of in even despite how a little limited mobility wise he felt, I think he finished this game with only 2 rush attempts. One of them was pretty critical, but even with those limitations, it felt like he kind of had the Superman cape on here at times tonight. And that's kind of just, it tells you everything you need to know about like how important he is to this lineup. It goes obviously without saying, but just seeing it on display again was very cathartic.
Yeah, like Taylor said, I think I misspoke. 14 touchdowns, 1 pick, 18 against the Dolphins in 5 games. I know they're showing that stat. That's the most passing touchdowns anyone's had in their first 5 games against an opponent.
And the passer rating was like the highest of a certain. They showed that graphic like 4 times. They were
the passing stats overall for Lamar are just insane. I mean, a 0.41 EPA per play tonight. He had a 79.4 QBR, and it wasn't a great game. But you can yell at me for saying that because he threw for 4 touchdowns and was 17 of 22. Like, there's just not quarterbacks that are that efficient. I think he has a 73.4 completion percentage right now. The only other quarterback that ends up with these like stat lines is Jared Goff. That has these like prime time 17 of 22 games, Brian.
His passer rating coming into this game was 130, which was far and away the best in the league, and his rating tonight was like 143. So he's probably in that 133, 134 range, which is just like astronomical.
And with all these great stats and all that stuff, and then seeing how they looked without him, that's a pretty valuable player, I would think.
Yeah,
maybe
he went from 100 to 1 pregame to 50 to 1 in the MVP race.
That would be the funniest thing of all time. I mean, I'm not even allowing that to enter my head, but that would be.
It's an MVP race there to be won. Like, yeah, it's a wide open MVP race. Like Drake May has the 3rd best odds right now, or something.
Drake maybe.
Mahomes is like plus 125. So
I think Mahomes is going to go nuclear the rest of the year. I think
he just might.
He may. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, with Rashee Rice back, I think that's. I might go.
You have to win your division.
I want the
Broncos win that division. What if the quarterback has to win their division to win MVP? Basically, you need to be the 1 or the 2 seed and win your division. Therefore, and I don't know. Chiefs look good. I mean, Broncos look good.
The path is there with regards to like the narrative of they were here without him and then they win the division because he came back and saved the day. And the stats, like from a cumulative standpoint, may not get there, but from a qualitative and efficiency standpoint are probably almost definitely going to be there. So it's this Drake May game down the stretch. It's going to be his opportunity to go and win it. Like, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, boys, but just
that's what you do.
I'm just laying out the pathway. The pathway in the world where this could possibly happen, it includes a drubbing of Drake May in some regard.
Drake maybe.
Certainly. Like Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey were getting all that MVP consideration on Christmas. It'll be a big spot. Who knows? Maybe that game that's just a 1:00 game, maybe?
I think it might be a 4.
I like that as a 4:00 game. I love that as a 4:00 game. But yeah, I mean, Lamar is rusty, and I don't know. All of a sudden, he opened that big 3rd down scramble. He opened up and just took it, and then bam, 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 bam. Suddenly, the Ravens have 24 touchdowns, 28 points, and is what it is. I still think like I don't know. Maybe I'm the negative. I usually am not the negative one, but I do feel like the Dolphins team was bad, and I think the Ravens had a bad game plan on a short week. Although they did just have the bye coming out. I was very pleased to see how they adjusted. Jake, we said it on the pregame show. Between the 20s, spread it out so you can run the ball downhill. Everyone keeps loading the box and putting that spy in the box. Then condense what you get down into the red zone. That's how the Rashad Bateman touchdown happened. They had a tight alignment. Bateman takes off like he's going to run a pylon route and then just sits down. Someone said in my comments or the replies was like, Bateman is a cat. And that is such a good way to describe him as a receiver. He really has like the agility of a kitty cat. Just sat right down.
Lamar was out of his mind on play action tonight. Some of the windows he was fitting it through. That's another really encouraging thing. He was just like, 3 guys in the area. 1 guy has an arm within an inch of the ball. He's just fitting it into windows. Well, I think of the throw to Likely, obviously the touchdown pass to Bateman. And yeah,
Kohler, I mean, like play action. I think the Zay Flowers deep shot was off play action, which was such a nice ball and so ball. Crispy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to climb the pocket on the Bateman touchdown was unbelievable too.
It was, yep.
Yeah.
And then also the manipulation of the pocket. I love the design there by Monken to kind of make everything look like it's going to the left on the Kolar touchdown. Lamar even kind of fakes it that way and then comes back, and Kolar is just kind of wide open. 2nd touchdown in 2 weeks for our guy Chaz Kolar. Love that.
Hammerhead, they were calling him in the castle.
The first kind of big play, was therapeutic to Likely, where it's just such a Lamar play. Like you're the opposing.
Straight up broke a tackle.
Yeah. And just that it's just the off schedule Lamar stuff that you're just so happy to have back. And when you don't have them, you really appreciate it once it's back. The Patriots game is a 1:00 or noon for our Midwest listeners. That is a prime candidate to get flexed into Sunday Night Football, because you look at the rest of the slate is not great, but CBS is not going to flex it to 4 because they have Lions Steelers at 4. So
to follow up on the Patriots thing too, the Jordan Love game is right behind that too, and he figures to be at least on the edge of the conversation too. And there's a lot of football to be played before.
Yeah, I mean, prime candidate. We're talking about it, ton of weeks before, but that's a very prime home Sunday Night Football flex candidate for sure.
I can't remember a softer stretch of schedule.
It is so soft.
It is baby shit soft. It is mushy peas in an English pub soft. It is wild how soft this is. You can clip that. You can clip that one sentence, and that would be a good
personal experience. I know you were in some English pubs recently.
I was, having some mushy peas, some garden peas. But
just looking at the Ravens schedule,
it's crazy. That's
5-1.
Has to be, I think. I mean, the Bengals could be belly up by the time you get to them. The Jet, I don't know. If I have to pick the loss, for some reason I feel like Jets. I don't know. They're so dysfunctional though, and I feel like you're watching a dysfunctional team. The Jets just had their big win. The Dolphins had their big win last week. I think that's why they were flat. Like they had that emotional high, and among
Woody Johnson's just got to keep talking shit on your guy Justin Fields. Just keep motivating him.
Just let the vegan do his thing, Woody. Just let QB1 rip.
Jake, would you say we have the nobody believes in us factor here at this point?
I think you got a little bit of nobody believes in us factor. I think you got a little bit of a don't look now factor. I mean, there's a lot of factors in play that you got to consider here. I mean, there are no like can't loses. They're all must wins, and you'd rather be in a must win than a can't lose.
Little bend don't break tonight.
There was a lot of bend don't break. Listen, I'm not an anti-bend don't break person. I just find it a very, very just funny concept.
That field goal miss in the first half is one of the worst field goal misses of the year. And that ball never was good. That ball was outside of the upright the entire time.
Like when you hit driver off the tee and like you can go back on the line of where it was inbounds at one. No, it was never. Yeah. It was ball never part of that football was ever inside of the upright.
Never crossed land.
It's never good. I'm not a very auditory person when I'm watching games. Like I said, I'm pretty interior, kind of like a Ronnie Stanley type figure, but that got an audible chuckle out of me. So that's, you never want that if you're Riley Patterson.
Tough for Riley. Sorry to Riley.
I don't know. Overall, I think we haven't really talked about the Ravens defense. Did not allow a touchdown tonight. Definitely had some weird, little bit of weirdness overall. Kind of like that Rams game. It felt like they just weren't quite grabbing what was available and in front of them. But the one thing that I've really noticed, especially since Alohi Gilman came over, was these corners are attacking receivers on in-breakers so violently. Wiggins ended up getting that PI, and I liked it late in the game. They are jumping on in-breakers. They know the soft spot's there. It's been there, and the way these safeties are playing over top has been smooth enough to prevent all but that one deep ball over the last couple weeks to Waddle that got called back. So love the way they're playing those in-breakers. Roquan Smith drops that pick. Buchanan looked a little better in coverage. Marlon Humphrey allowed a couple catches late, but he was clawing through the football. Awesome stickiness and aggression on in-breaking routes from these corners, this secondary. Roquan just looks fucking good. Looking like 2023 Roquan in coverage. He's just more urgent to get to, he knows where the ball's going, and a lot of times you can't stop it, and he is way more urgent to get there and end the play and make it 3rd and 4 instead of 3rd and 2, 2nd and 7 instead of 2nd and 5. He's really been squeezing the blood out of receivers, or maybe vice versa, not letting the blood get squeezed out for that extra 2-3 yards. How many times are the Ravens in 3rd and short defensively, early in this season, through the first month? Over and over. They're just in hell of 3rd and 4th and short, and they've done such a good job being intentional about the detail of what it takes. 3rd and 5 versus 3rd and 2 is processing, trusting it, and ending it, and fundamental tackling technique, like getting the leg, taking the leg down, preventing the yak. So been really impressed over the last couple weeks. Are we seeing like world-beating teams? Absolutely fucking not. But I would say the Bears have some slippery guys, like DJ Moore's tough after the catch. Romadune's tough after the catch. They got some other fellas that can skedaddle. Waddle, A-Chain, some of these guys can skedaddle a little bit. But I've been really impressed with that intentional effort and the attention to detail. Kyle Hamilton was so good tonight. So chaotic and so disruptive. And I love it. He and Puka Nacua both, I'll knock on wood for Kyle. The injury scare is like the worst. Kyle goes to the tent. Him and Marlon go to the tent every game, it feels like.
Marlon got his out really early tonight. I was going to text you about that. It was probably like their first drive. It's like, oh, well, he's going to take his quick injury break. He'll be right back after this. And that's how it worked out. And I'll keep knocking on wood that it's going to stay that way.
And I know it's so cool having Hamilton around the line of scrimmage and like people talk about his ideal usage, things like that. It's a lot of wear and tear on somebody who just signed to a $100 million contract fast. He's playing so violently with very large individuals in the offensive line and the backs, and it's a lot more collisions and stuff like that. So, I mean, all of that to say, you need to acquire someone in the front seven. And Kyle shouldn't be having to play this much, basically outside linebacker, and be the one doing it. He's been fucking awesome doing it. The way he's toying around, jumping the snap, and able to slither around the outside. Like, he is slipping blocks, doing all kinds of cool stuff, processing so well. And I do think his ideal usage, like, he is probably the most impactful in terms of chaos, being nickel, but not outside linebacker, not the way he's been playing that much. They needed it. They need to relieve it. They have to relieve it. It's too much physicality for someone that you need so badly. Would love to see it in late. Yeah, Garnett's got it right here. You can't spam it the rest of the season. It's too much wear and tear on him and Roquan, and you're too dependent on those guys because of it. They need more bodies. Someone is going to miss time, whether it's an interior lineman or another outside linebacker. You just don't have the depth. And at this point, like, you can make a move that I think I'll even go as insane to say guarantees that you win the AFC North. Like, you are simply a couple bodies on the the defensive front away from winning the AFC North. So can't wait to see how it plays out. Adam Schefter said today the over-under on the amount of players traded between now and the deadline is 4.5 in his mind. And I thought that was shocking to hear. That is such a low number, but NFL trade deadline does kind of fizzle out. But Hamilton, Roquan Smith, so cool. So much awesome, versatile stuff, physicality, play like a Raven, all that stuff tonight. I love it, but at the same time, it's too much. It's too much. Can't keep doing it. And it was 2 games in 4 days, and they do get another little mini bye, but I don't want to see Hamilton doing that the rest of the season. I don't think it's sustainable. It's 2 weeks in a row of it now, and what we always talk about football being a tendency breaking game. When you show enough of something, it's like blackjack. You just keep hitting or whatever. You just kind of find it. Find another answer. Play into that. Go on a heater and craps. It's going to come to an end eventually. Yeah, exactly. And Kevin O'Connell, like JJ McCarthy, doesn't really worry me. Kevin O'Connell, that's a smart freaking coach right there, and he's going to notice that. So
JJ McCarthy and a secret injury.
Soft benching, is that what you're saying?
That's what some are saying.
Some have said that, yeah.
Yes. Just to piggyback on the point about the DBs, there was a rep like late in the game. Game was pretty much over. I think it was Cedric Wilson ended up catching the pass on 3rd or 4th down. And Marlon makes the play like 80% of the time. But the way he like went after the football on the swipe was like, okay, that's like that guy kind of doing what he does at a little bit of a better level. And like he was right there. It's a play that he makes and just kind of mistimed the swipe on the ball. And Wilson almost laughed getting up. Like, I can't believe I just caught that. Like, there's no reason I should have caught that. As he was wearing the big helmet. I love the big helmet. Let me tell you, if I played, I'd wear the big helmet.
You're a brain safety guy.
Keep me away from the concussions. I freaking love a Packer. What Packer wears it, Brian? There's a Packer.
Romeo Dobbs.
Romeo Dobbs. That's right.
Big time.
The Dolphins one looked so ugly. I think
it was so good.
It looked
Bryson,
like one of
Bryson would wear the big helmet.
the textbook socks you used to have to put on in middle school to protect the textbook. That's kind of what that one looked
Oh,
Textbook's
yeah.
yeah.
I used to wear those on my head at recess.
Yeah. Just
And I
get
had
ripped
the
up.
corners of the books would look like little ears.
Yeah.
Looking like our guy, the Duke out there at the Internet Invitational.
That's right. To that point, like, was it Wilson who caught the fourth down? When he caught that fourth down catch, he pointed for the first down, and it was like, "What are you doing, man? You're down 28-6." Like,
Little Chase Claypool vibes.
it's just one of those things. It's just like that's
Keaton
where that
vibes.
team is right now mentally. They're just out there trying to earn their next check.
Yeah, they're bad. I mean, they're bad, and that's, I guess, the to go to your trying to think about it negatively would be the Dolphins are so bad that you almost don't want to get like too excited about what the Ravens did, but you play who you play.
They also had
They're making money too.
Craziest gauntlet of an opening schedule that I've probably ever seen. So it's like you gotta just kind of gotta take your wins where you can get them, and don't get too high, don't get too low. It's kind of like our guy Eric Thomas was talking about. You came in thinking things were going to be sweet this season. You got in the wrong mindset. Just keep the right mindset. Ocean wave.
Awesome if they ripped off like 10 straight wins after that guy came to the facility. Just that, I mean, that guy will be a hero.
Yeah,
on
he
Ravens
can charge.
Twitter.
I'm sure he charges a pretty penny for his services, but I mean, that's
get him on the salary.
No better case study or anecdotal evidence.
Put him on the staff. Put him on the coaching staff.
Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
He could be the vibes guru.
If you want to
make him the head coach,
you want to breathe, then you'll
make him the head coach.
That's basically what head coaches are in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Having a message, having some sort of message to share is so much of it. But yeah, I mean, I could tell that the fact that it's a short week and you were 1-5 5 days ago, I think the Ravens are more enthused with this one themselves. Like, that's no tall task, and not accomplishing what they did against the Bears with Huntley. Like, what they did with Huntley makes it that much sweeter. What they did against the Dolphins, at the end of the day, they didn't allow a touchdown. They scored 4. It was 28-6. Like, they did effectively blow them out. Was it a little weird? Yes. Was it a little anemic in the first half? Sure. But it was clean. It was slow and kind of stinky, but it was also clean. The special teams were good. The turnovers, the takeaways, like penalty-wise, you were fine. Kyle Hamilton on Malachi Stark's interception, we have to shout him out for his first career pick. That was just football, baby. That hit was just football. To quote my boy Judge Baltimore, he said, I know he's in the comments here. Let Malachi have his little run back. All right, let's chill out on that one.
It could have been
on an interception return. I'm going to make a new rule. No penalties allowed on an interception return. Anybody should be able to kill anyone. That is the most exciting play in football. Anyone should be able to
that was the perfect like nightcap for Kyle Hamilton's night, though. Just throwing every bit of caution and whatever to the wind and just saying, fuck it, I'm gonna lay this guy out for no reason. It's just like, yeah, Kyle, you are a absolute lunatic right now, and you put that on full display. And I was gonna say, like, it could have been worse for the Dolphins too. Roquan Smith dropped an interception that was thrown right to him. The offense stalled out a few times. If they could have figured that out. I know we talked about the issues and everything like that. They could have got this game into the 30s, like 31, probably, it looks a little better than 28. So, it's game of inches is what I'm saying.
Trey Pillard, I think, had a great comment here. The sloppiness was from roster deficiencies, not coaching malpractice, which is very different. Yeah. I mean, I love to rip John Harbaugh when he has a play snapped before the 2-minute warning against the Bears in the first half for the second time this season. Go ahead, Jake.
How about that challenge? One challenge for John Harbaugh tonight. How about it? Let's ring the bell, everybody. And I saw you dangerous lunatics, haters, and punk trash on the Everything app. As soon as he threw that flag and it went to commercial break, everyone just piling on my guy John. Well, guess what? Some maestro challenges, and that proved it right then and there.
Nothing was done weirdly in this game at all. It was clean from the Ravens decision wise, coaching staff wise. Brian, what do you think? This is one of your favorite areas of expertise, Brian.
Yeah, like the thing that sometimes frustrates me about the Ravens in past weeks and early in the season is like, I think there's like, how do I articulate this? you play football on every given snap, and cumulatively you give yourself X amount of opportunities. I feel like this team was not getting a lot of juice out of what they were kind of growing, right? And this was a game where I think they squeezed everything out of it that they possibly could. And it's not like they feasted. I mean, they outgained the Dolphins by 6 yards. They had one more first down than them, but
They
all
were
the other
1 for
things-
6 on third down in the first half, the Baltimore Ravens tonight.
but all the things that like equate to eventually winning football games, which is taking care of the football and taking away the football and converting on key fourth downs and just like all the little things, the penalties, as you mentioned, just a clean football game. Like I feel like Jake loves the phrase, tie your shoes. They tied their shoes tonight. And
That's what you need to do.
they eased their way into the game a little bit. Obviously there was the Lamar had some rust that like that first punt, 3 and out. I mean, that's not a throw you usually see him make at all. The incompletion that led to the punt, but those first 2 drives coming out of half, it was kind of like, okay, we're back. We're firing all cylinders. Not all cylinders, but like we're looking like we can move the ball down the field with some ease, and yeah, it was refreshing.
And it's also like capitalizing on momentum too. I love the fact that the Dolphins won the toss and elected to receive. Just one of the dumber moves you can make, just like literally all the time, and especially if you're a team like that. I don't know what they were thinking there, but it's a 1-score game going into the locker room. The Ravens almost botched it going into the locker room with some. I think that was a weird situational moment, I would say, where they opted to throw instead of run and burn the Dolphins 2 timeouts. But yeah, 1-score game in the locker room. You come out throwing, you march right down the field, you score a touchdown. I feel like before, even in this season, we have seen them not ride that wave of momentum and not execute properly, and they absolutely did that today. And it again goes back to that Bears game. They did the same thing against the Bears with the nice throw to Bateman coming out of the locker room to really spark that drive. And I don't know, just again, situationally, that's really good stuff.
You look in contrast to the other sideline. Did it look like the Dolphins had any sense of what the hell they were doing in that late first half drive that they had? Like the players all look confused. Tua didn't seem to really have much of a sense of what they wanted to try to accomplish, and it was just totally disjointed. Which is
he burned a couple of timeouts himself out there, just not knowing like where guys were supposed to be.
It's man, are the Dolphins bad? Like I every week I wake up every Monday and I wonder how that guy hasn't been let go yet.
Yeah, Raheem Morris is probably starting to look over his shoulders at this point. To have what happened last week happen in Atlanta against this team, that's a tough look.
Any given Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, baby.
Or Wednesday if it's the Ravens during the COVID season.
Any Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, baby. I feel we've had Tuesdays. I feel like we've had Tuesdays.
That was
I don't know
Tuesday, not a Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Or
that was
a Wednesday matinee. It was Wednesday 5:30, if I recall correctly.
Yeah,
Wednesday
it was like
happy hour.
3:45, I think it was.
Wilson getting piled on and they couldn't get the snap off going to the
Maybe
locker.
It was like 3:45. I think you're right.
Yeah, just awful times, awful vibes, bad times.
That was nuts. Both the rookies, Malachi Starks pick, Mike Green gets a little half sack. Momentum for the rookies as a confidence builder.
With a sack too, winning individually.
I think it's really interesting the progression of development. We're talking about how this is maybe the worst schedule that the Ravens have, like the easiest strength of schedule that I can recall. I don't know. Like this is so bad. The beginning of the season was insane. Bills, Browns are a divisional opponent that, sometimes gives you trouble. And then of course the Chiefs, the Lions, the Texans, and the Rams, them meaning Malachi Starks and Mike Green, who are sure throw Teddy Buchanan in there too. He's been starting. Those rookies truly got trial by fire against good. Think about the Chiefs, what the Chiefs offense has been doing and how efficient they've been and the way they play football versus what we just watched tonight. Think about what the Chiefs do to you offensively in their own unique ways versus, this like weird screen team that has no arm strength and this perimeter run game stuff. The limited offense. It's going to be interesting to see how those cats develop and gain confidence as the Ravens eventually do have to play the Steelers, Patriots, Packers, those teams later in the year. So I would love to hear what those guys have to say at the end of the year about how playing against those teams versus having this upcoming soft schedule that they're in the midst of just was for them in their perspective and experience. I think it's an interesting just layout of the schedule, man. I mean, shit. If it started the other way, maybe the Ravens are freaking 4-3 and then they end up 4-6 or something. Like, I don't know. It could have gone so many ways with the lay of how they ended up having that kind of gauntlet at the beginning and the injuries. So, you know, I know that when they were having their speeches, I saw up on the big screen and Wired or whatever, they were talking about the Giants who beat the undefeated Patriots. They're talking about the Ravens wild card team that won the Super Bowl, all those kinds of things. And you know, it's easy to talk about those things that others have done, but I'm impressed with what they've done. And I think it would have been easy for a lot of teams to clam up and get worse. Apparently, sidebar, Lamar Jackson said on the Amazon set that Isaiah Likely was like the main reason he wanted the ping pong table out, that like Isaiah Likely was the ping pong culprit that made him want it out of the locker room.
He's got to bury him on national TV like that. Come on.
That's a burial. Yeah.
That's hysterical to me. I can't wait to go back and watch that. But yeah, I mean, they did what they should do of what we've seen from this team the last couple of years tonight. But the Huntley game, the fact that it was 2 games in 4 days, coming off the worst stretch of losses you've had in at least a decade, maybe in your franchise's history, considering expectations. Like, I'm impressed with that. I'm impressed with the perseverance, the wherewithal, the will, all that good stuff. Johnny's still got, you know, is John Harbaugh like a Aroldis Chapman? I don't know. Like, I think he might still have his fastball. I think he can still rally the troops. I don't know if he's getting a World Series, but he can still throw that fucking heater. You heard him on Wired. You saw the clips this week. He's still got those guys listening, man. He definitely does.
I feel like we probably could have gone to somebody other than Aroldis Chapman, but
Aroldis was throwing gas. Fuck you, Jake. Aroldis was throwing gas. He was lights out this year. Just when you think he's out, he pulls you back in.
Yeah.
We're talking about on the field, Jacob.
Okay.
On the field. But Anasee here says he's not as good as he once was, but good once as he ever was.
I said, Dave.
Anything else from this broadcast? Prime Vision, I did watch for a bit. I did turn it off. The camera was going nuts for me for a little bit. It was fun to watch in ways, and I was able to see, like, I don't know, I could definitely see Lamar struggling a little bit. I'm curious if you guys watched some Prime Vision. The camera felt especially crazy tonight from the sky view. Al Michaels talking about the moon tonight, his number one favorite topic.
Now, Kirk, is that waxing or waning? What do you think?
I didn't watch Prime Vision. I probably should have. I think Prime does a very good job producing sports. I think their NBA stuff has been good so far. I know they're getting a lot of press for like actually breaking down basketball in their halftime and post, as opposed to what goes on.
Team too for NBA on Prime, by the way.
Yes. Look, it's amazing what Al Michaels is doing at 80 years old. He's certainly past his prime, but the guy's an absolute legend. And when he brings you into the broadcast, it feels like a big deal. So that's always welcomed. Him and Kirk do not have the greatest amount of chemistry. Kirk does 17 things during the week. And I think the Thursday night football game is the one he kind of is like, let's roll the ball out. I'll come out and call this game with Al. We'll have a good time. There's only so many people watching, whatever. Whereas I think he puts a lot into the Saturday night football and game day and all those things. He just doesn't sound like he's into these games with, and Kirk is very good on TV. He's just not so clearly not as into it as he is with Fowler on the Saturday night games.
I think Kirk's scrolling Twitter during these games. He's a big Twitter fight guy. So he's probably like trying to find his go out and I don't know.
He's got his dog like popping around the press box. I mean, he's doing what he's doing. Like he's flying. He's going to see his son play high school football on Friday. Like he's doing his thing. The studio crew is pretty good. Like they're not bad. I love that. Get
one more panelist in there though for the studio.
I love that Carissa Thompson has Tony Gonzalez next to her every time. Never throws it to him first. Always goes to one of the other guys.
I swear they all hate him. I swear they all hate Tony Gonzalez.
He feels like the outlier, and he seems like a very nice guy. I don't know if he is, but he seems like but he just seems like the outlier of like, hey, let's bring in some fresh voices. Here's Fitz. Here's Whitworth in the sweatshirt. Here's Sherman. And then it's like Tony Gonzalez, who's been on TV for way longer. He just feels on the outside looking at that group. So maybe they refresh that, but I don't mind it gets stuck in my head every single time I watch that.
Before we got going, it's in my head too.
Yeah, it's just it's a good theme. So they do a good job. I know people are kind of in and out on Al because he's just not Al of even 50 or even 10 years ago where he was Sunday Night Football and still
I will say
sounded great, but
really digging deep into the archives for that miracle at the Meadowlands pool. I didn't need that. It felt like they were trying to will a comeback into existence. Just let us.
Al's trying to keep himself interested. Like I get it. Like they're calling a terrible game. I mean, they even showed the division standings right before the kickoff. It was like 2-6, 2-5, or whatever it was. And I was like, God, Prime's got to be thrilled. At least they got Lamar. But
we're sitting here and
it's fine.
The moon thing came up, and I was like, I'm going to be talking about that with Taylor in a matter of minutes because that's going to be a point of discussion.
Yeah.
You get a nice Monster Mash bumper out in the commercial, though. I know you like that.
Great stuff from Prime Video. Great. It's the Monster Mash is back. It is back in a big way.
It might be as big as it's ever been, I would argue.
Yeah.
Brent Urban tried to hit the Thriller after his sack, and oh my God, he's too large of a man to try that.
And I think
the great man, Brent Urban.
She's not talked about that much because she's on Prime Video. Kaylee Hartong's really good on the sideline, like really, really good. Like she was at ESPN and then like did CNN for a while, so I think she got lost in the sports like zeitgeist. She's very, very, very good.
I bought a lot of stock in her early.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see what they do because Al, I don't know how much Al has left. Like 80 years old is like not many guys make it to 80. Like Dick Stockton was calling games for Fox probably like 10 or so years ago in his mid 70s and was a disaster. Like Al sounds very good for 80. I'm interested who they go with next after him because it's coming next year. Is Al going to be doing this at 84? Like, is he going to do this to the end of the Prime deal? Like, I don't know.
I think he'll live forever. He never eats a vegetable.
Yes.
His headset at any given moment was on the verge of falling right off the front of his head onto his face. I don't know if you noticed that, but it was a point of discussion here at the bar.
I didn't pick up on that. No.
I'm shocked the Amazon crew has lasted in full tack. Like they all must have had concrete 3-year deals or something at least. Like minimum. Not a single person has fallen off from the halftime / post-game crew or from obviously Alan Kirk. So I don't know. Impressed. And I think maybe Amazon wanted a model of consistency to create like a routine of expectation, which is smart for like branding purposes and developing like consumer habits, things like that. But what Al said to Lamar, they like cut to a video of Al being like, do you know what you do for our ratings? And Lamar was like, really? Like, no, I don't.
Yes, Al. I always love that little like, I think it's 70. They do like the 72 hours of Prime or like 72 hours before Prime. And they do that like montage. It's like Kirk on the production call. It's such a funny montage every single time. They do it for every game.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you have Al there to like, they had Al there to start the deal because you establish a big game voice and you want it to sound big. And so he's there. And I agree, Spenny. It's amazing. This stuff goes through so many changes on so many networks. To have the entire crew, sideline reporters, studio crew,
like the fact that the post-game crew has not even once wavered. I don't think any of them have missed a single game.
Yeah.
They must be paying. Bezos is shelled out.
That's why he laid off 34,000 workers. He's got to give Andrew Whitworth more money for
feed Andrew Whitworth more hoodie blazer
give him a couple more hoodies to wear. Yeah. And honestly, the little integration they have with the AI with like the blitzers where it shows the prospective blitzers is cool. It's a cool integration. Yeah. It's not on any other broadcast. So good for them for innovating.
I'm curious if it was subconscious or not. Like it drew a lot more attention to Kyle Hamilton, like on every single play, which was kind of nice. He's hard to ignore the last handful of weeks playing where he's playing, but I would imagine for the more layman type viewer or whatever, it was like, oh, Kyle Hamilton again. Oh, Kyle Hamilton.
It makes you feel the pressure. I feel like it puts you in the quarterback's shoes if there's somebody like that who's truly such a wild card if they're going to blitz or not, or what their responsibility might be. And like you just said, you're like, ooh, like that's what the quarterback's saying. Like, whoa. So I thought that definitely like it a lot.
I listened to John Orenzo, sports reporter for Puck, like a sports business reporter. I listened to his podcast this morning with like the head of Amazon, like the head of Amazon Sports essentially. And they were saying that to like develop that technology, they had the AI go essentially against Fitz and Whitworth, like trying to guess who the blitzers were. And like the AI was like winning half the time. And Fitzpatrick Whitworth was like, oh my God. And they were trying to like test it essentially to perfect it because it's not always right. I think they said it's like right, like around 85% of the time when it like tries to identify. But it's cool.
Got to get
Cool.
Whitworth working for Outlier AI. Start training some models up.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can use the extra income.
Well, I'm sure
buy some more hoodies.
To me, it's just like, what's the application of you using that in quarterback development and in like the development of just football knowledge inside of an NFL or like a Power 5 team or any football institution? Like how AI is going to start being able to, like, then it's going to be like, well, we need to break we need to break the probability. Like, then you're going to be, not only are you trying to confuse the quarterback, you're trying to confuse the fucking LLM.
Well, they did the story where like, what it was like
talking about here. It's interesting.
10 years ago, Stanford was the first team to use like the VR.
And
VR
who was
plus
at
AI.
Stanford at the time? Spen.
Who was at Stanford?
At the time, yeah, 10 years ago.
It was not Andrew Luck.
David Shaw was a head coach.
Yeah, it was Mr. Shaw.
The guy you were on the phone with.
Oh, no, he was before that. Sam was Andrew Luck's center.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know.
Close enough.
Yeah,
David Shaw, former Ravens assistant. It all comes around.
I was going to say David Shaw gets a lot of burn on this podcast. So we got to get David Shaw back in our lives.
David Shaw is good on the draft when they used to have him on the draft. Do they still have him on the draft?
Yes.
He was good on the draft. He was good.
Yeah.
He was doing it as the Stanford coach. He was really good on the draft.
Only because we're meandering just names. Something that came up today was what's Les Miles up to? I want to know. I want to get that guy back in the carousel and back into our lives.
National championship winning coach. It was horrible. They hired him at Kansas. It was horrible.
I know it was.
He
But
briefly had Jamar Chase committed to Kansas. Briefly.
some obviously like these big programs are the highlight of the carousel, but with everybody kind of leveling up and moving seats, there's got to be a seat for him somewhere at some.
How old do you
some
think
ag
Les Miles is,
school or-
Brian?
I think he's done.
What age do you think he is?
I bet he's
68.
71 years old.
I was going to say
little
he's in his
surprised.
early 70s.
Well, the guy ate a lot of grass. Hopefully that'll be Al Michaels.
Probably
Hopefully
what he's doing right now.
Yeah, his secret.
I hope he is. I hope he's eating grass somewhere.
Happy Halloween, boys.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Indeed. All right. Anything else before we close up shop?
I think eating
dude-
grass is a good way to end it.
Yep.
If the Ravens, very quickly, we can say yes or no. If the Ravens acquire B+ defensive lineman or outside linebacker or whatever, do you believe they are capable of winning a Super Bowl based on what you've seen so far this season? Brian, I'll start with. They go make a Roquan Smith type trade, but it's for a defensive front player.
Based on what I've seen, the answer is no.
Taylor?
Yeah, if we're based on what I have seen this season, no.
Jake?
I'm still a no. I think the problems go deeper than one player can fix, even if it does fill an immediate need. There's just depth issues. There's, it all kind of plays into each other. So I'm still no.
I prefer to live in this space called have a little faith, though.
I think if you rephrase that
happen.
question, you say, would I like bet my life on them not winning the Super Bowl? I would also say no, because you have an MVP quarterback and you can't.
Yeah.
Like pinky bet, like big cat pinky bet.
Yeah, you can't take it totally off the table when that guy is under center.
I think the
With
ingredients
teams with
are there.
those
but
type of
they
guys
have
can't do
not-
it.
They just have not cooked up anything this year to really suggest it. Besides 3 quarters in Buffalo, maybe.
What is wild too is when is the
We
next
had-
game we're going to be able to
we had
have the
deep stats.
conversation where we're like, oh, they just rolled a good team. Now, like that's going to happen. That doesn't happen for
I
a
think
while.
it has to be like they would have to at least win 2 of 3 Steelers, Packers,
Patriots.
Like if they like go to Lambeau and run amok, that would I think have to be where I'm like, yeah, yep.
With Micah Parsons, with the way this is laid out right now, is just not a fun time.
Yeah. So I think that's a good good reality check because I feel like we're We're reaping right now, and I'm afraid of the sowing.
We're living by the we're living by the sword, and I hope that doesn't catch up to us later down the line.
Certainly. So, Eric, go do your thing. I have faith in Eric DaCosta. He loves trading for defensive players. He's going to Bradley Chubb, some vet, some 28, 29-year-old vet up on the front that's maybe not an A-list guy, but a nice B-list guy that makes sure you have enough that you were honest to yourself that if Lamar Jackson were to go on a run in the playoffs, that you didn't do him a disservice.
When's the deadline? Is it Tuesday?
Yes. NFL trade deadline. I believe it's Tuesday, 4 p.m. If I'm not mistaken.
ROI on the Gilman trade to this point has been, I mean, pretty good to say the
Spectacular.
least.
Spectacular.
Yeah, like just there was vision behind that move for sure.
It was not made blindly.
Yeah.
It wasn't just some random all right, OA doesn't want to be here, whatever. Like they're like, we know what we need to do, and we did it. Tuesday, November 4th at 4 p.m.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. All weekend we're officially on trade watch.
Put it on the board. Maybe we'll hop on. Instant reaction. We usually do. Someone
if they get someone, we'll definitely go live for that.
Jair Alexander at this point. Will Jair, final thing before we get out of here. Will Jair Alexander make any impact at all for the Ravens this season?
No.
Why would I think he would at this point? But maybe.
Maybe they have an injury and he gets forced into action and he makes a play or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a more odds on that he would just because it feels like when you have a team, a million corners play every single year. But it just feels like if he was like ready to go, he would be finding his way onto the field and he just continues to be a healthy scratch.
Impacts can be bad.
Positive impact was what I was implying.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that gives us a nice, an hour 12. It's fucking 1 a.m., boys. We did the damn thing.
For some of us.
That's true. Taylor's got that extra. It's not quite Halloween there.
It's not quite. I got 19 minutes. By the way, I've been wearing my Ravens sweatshirt around Chicago, going against the thought that I was rooting for the Bears on Sunday for some of the people trying to inflect that narrative into the conversation. So,
okay, good. Well, we're glad to hear that. All right. Well, appreciate you boys hanging with me. Appreciate everyone hanging in the comments. Appreciate everyone.
I'm having like an allergic reaction because of this thing. By the way,
yeah, I was kind of. There was a moment I was.
My mom's house has been in my mom's closet for like over 20 years.
I was kind of wondering, is he doing that like the whole show like that? I don't know if that's going to be great for the audio, but you know, we got the visual. We got what we needed out of it. I'm nice and comfy in my robe here. I'm gonna go chase my daughter around and try to avoid Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw. Interesting comment here. Not really sure what to make of that. But yeah, appreciate everyone hanging in the comments. Appreciate everyone listening after the fact. If you like what you heard, subscribe to us here on YouTube, like the video, comment on it, get all that algorithm, good stuff pumping for us. Follow us on social media at X52 Podcast on Instagram and on X. Also on X, you can find us personally. I'm at Jake Louque. That's Louque. Spenny is at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4 in the middle there. Brian at Barstool Banks, Taylor at Taylor Smyth 10. You can also follow Eric at EDITTI22. Probably got some Orioles content coming your way soon. New manager hired at Camden Yards and Craig Albanese. So we'll be on to break that down a little post-mortem of the season as well. So get pumped for that. And until then, appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll talk to you very, very
Jeez.
Ravens have scored 4+ offensive touchdowns in all 4 of Lamar's full games this season. See ya.
Cheese.
Cheese.